New York session yielding more profit today. Please remember to hit subscribe, and if you're still struggling with your trading or trying to find a system or a strategy that works for you, why not give the Price Action Traders Institute a try? You can find out more details from our website, which is www.uktoasia.com. Okay, let's get straight over to the charts. The New York trade planning session has just finished with Kim. I sat and listened to that, and it's now 26 minutes past 2 here in London. New York session is about to open in a couple of minutes, and I'll just quickly run through these. I've got two trades on at the moment. I've taken the Australian dollar US dollar. Just saw this just before Kim started her trade plan. I saw an entry point on this and I took this short, looking for further downside movement on this Australian dollar US dollar. Saw this big move down overnight, or biggish move down overnight, due to the red news event that came out. So anyway, I've taken this short, looking for further downside movement. The other pair that I'm in is the New Zealand dollar US dollar. I've taken this short as it came through an entry point, again looking for further downside movement. Now, any of the Price Action Traders Institute members who are looking at this now will know that I'm trading this different to Kim. There's two ways. When we look at a chart, we have two ways of assessing the way we're going to trade it. Kim saw it one way. My first glance at this is the chart I was looking at, and I called it slightly different to Kim. But it doesn't matter. The way that we trade, you can look at this either way. You can look at it how Kim has marked it up and the way that she's trading it, or you can look at the alternative, the way that I'm trading it, and that's absolutely fine. You just trade what you see. And so those Price Action Traders Institute members who are looking at this, like I say, you would have questioned this, but that's why. You can trade it as you see it, and that's how I saw it when I first glanced at it. Okay, that being said, New Zealand dollar US dollar, like I say, taking this short, looking for further downside movement. So that's it right now, just those two trades. I'll be flicking through the chart, see if there's any other entries. Okay, I'll pause the video for now, and I'll be back fairly soon with an update to let you know how things are going. Back again to show you I've taken one more trade on this Australian dollar Japanese yen. Again, price came through an entry point. With this one, I hit the button and was filled 2 pips lower than where I got in. So I don't know what happened there. The platform froze, and when it came back to life a few seconds later, I actually got filled 2 pips below where I wanted to be in. So I've actually got in this one at 76 and still holding the Australian dollar US dollar. Got in that one at 75 and the New Zealand dollar US dollar. Took this one at 62. All three of them I've taken short, and I'm looking for that further downside movement. Okay, I'll carry on flicking through the charts. I'll pause the video for now and I'll come back to you if I make any changes or take any more trades. Back with an update. There's not a great deal to report right now, as there's not a massive amount happening. Price is going sideways on a lot of these pairs. But just showing you where I am right now. It's, what is it now? 14:58, almost half an hour into the New York Open. You can see Australian dollar US dollar still holding there, showing a little bit of profit. Australian dollar Japanese yen pulling back a little bit. We've seen some weakness in the Japanese yen, so it's pushing that one back up, holding that Australian dollar move towards the downside. And the New Zealand dollar US dollar, seeing that strength in the US dollar, pushing this down, just touching up against that 50 level there, looking for this price to push through that 50 and hopefully continue down towards that 20 where I've got my take profit right now. Okay, I'll pause the video for now and I'll be back soon. Okay, back again, still holding just those three trades, although starting to see the markets move a little bit now, seeing a little bit of profit showing. Australian dollar US dollar, you can see it's moved down quite nicely, holding now. Australian dollar Japanese yen showing some profit, and the New Zealand dollar US dollar, that's about 15 pips in profit at the moment. So what I think I'll do, I'll pull that price stop. I'll lock in a couple of pips on that just to cover costs if it turns around and comes back up again. Seen it come through that 50 level and it's held below on that last candle. And so yeah, I'm going to lock in a couple of pips on that just to cover myself if it does all spin round, go wrong and start reversing, and at least I won't lose anything on that. Okay, so that's it. I'm still flicking through the charts. I've got a couple of pending orders standing at the moment, and I'll come back to you and let you know if any of those take. Okay, pause again, be back soon. Okay, back again in two more trades. I've taken the Euro US dollar as it's come through an entry point. Looks like it's not a real strong move. I mean, initially I was looking at that candle, the way it was moving looked like a nice strong move and looked like it was going to continue, but it's just hovering there at the moment at that breaking point. So anyway, I've taken that whichever way I'm in it now, and we'll see how that runs. Euro Japanese yen, exactly the same with that. Price came down, hit an entry point. Since then it's sucked back a little bit. I've got 4 minutes left on this candle to see if I can stay with it or not. So just keep an eye on those two. And the other three trades still doing okay. The Australian dollar weakness is continuing. That's mirroring on this New Zealand dollar, pulling that down, and also the US dollar strength is pushing this one down too. It's sticking below that 50 level. Just pulled back a little bit and bounced off that 50 level again there, but you can see it's still holding down below there. Okay, I'll just keep an eye on these two euro trades that I've taken while this candle's running, and I'll be back soon with an update for you. Okay, back with an update now. We've got a new candle open. This Euro Japanese yen, I had to punch out of this. Price didn't move out of the area that I needed it to, so I punched out of the Euro Japanese yen, losing 5 pips on that. The Euro US dollar just about held on to where I needed to see that price being as the candle closed, and that's absolutely fine at the moment. Price is still pushing down. Starting to see that strength pick up again on the US dollar, and as well we're seeing that euro starting to drop a little bit. The other trades still holding them, no problem at all. Slow movement, nice and steady. The Australian dollar Japanese yen, that's pulling back a little bit on that Japanese yen weakness that we've been seeing intermittently throughout this session. And the New Zealand dollar US dollar still holding below that 50 and moving down quite nicely at the moment, nice and steady. Okay, pause again, and I'll be back soon with an update for you. Okay, back with an update. The Euro US dollar pulled back, didn't push outside of the zone that I wanted it to, and so I've punched out of that, losing 2 pips. So I'm currently down 7 pips and still holding the original 3 trades that I was in earlier on. So the Australian dollar US dollar, you can see that's starting to ease off a little bit, moving sideways there. Australian dollar Japanese yen and the New Zealand dollar US dollar still making this steady trickle down towards the downside, and still showing some profit. Okay, I'll pause for now and I'll be back with an update for you soon. And just had an order taken on this US dollar Canadian dollar as it's come through that entry point there. Looking for further upside movement on this, seeing that strength on that US dollar starting to kick in again. Okay, I'll pause for now and I'll be back soon. Okay, we're seeing a move on this Canadian dollar now, so another trade's just kicked in there, hit my order. So I've taken the Canadian dollar Japanese yen, taken this short, looking for that further downside movement, and the US dollar Canadian dollar, seeing that starting to move out of that area where I got into that. And the other 3 trades that I'm holding, just holding off at the moment, just not really doing a great deal. This Australian dollar Japanese yen and the Australian dollar US dollar has been bouncing off of this previous low here. So looking for it to break those lows, which it looks like it's doing right now. Push through that and continue down towards these take profits that I've got. I've got this Australian dollar Japanese yen take profit down at 50, and the Australian dollar US dollar again down at 50. So need to see it break these lows, push through them, and then hopefully get a nice move down towards those take profit levels that I've got there. So that's it for now. Seeing that reasonable move on the Canadian dollar right now. And that's about it. Okay, I'll pause again and I'll be back soon just to let you know how these trades are doing. Okay, new candle opened and we're seeing some moves taking place on some of these pairs now. The Australian dollar US dollar pushed through the previous low there, but now it's pulling back a little bit. Looking for further downside movement on that. Australian dollar Japanese yen, seeing strength on that Japanese yen, pulling this down. That Japanese yen move going actually happening right across the board, doing pretty good and moving some of the pairs quite nicely. US dollar Canadian dollar, seeing the Canadian dollar weakness here, and this Canadian dollar Japanese yen, you can see Canadian dollar weakness and Japanese yen strength pushing this one down away from that entry point where I got in, and the New Zealand dollar US dollar still drifting sideways at the moment. So I'll carry on scanning these charts, see what's happening with this price action, and I'll be back soon to give you an update. Okay, back again, just letting you know I've gone flat the market. I'm happy with the results I've got right now. We're seeing those moves continuing quite nicely. But this is a part of Forex trading. Once you've taken your profit, if you leave money on the table, you have to be okay with that. So what I'll do, I'll pause for now and I'll be back soon with the numbers, letting you know what I've made today. Okay, back again for a quick roundup for today's trading. First of all, the 2 losers. Euro US dollar. Lost 2 pips on that. You can see slight pullback there, and I had to punch out of that. Euro Japanese yen. losing 5 pips on this. You can see where I got in there, hit an entry point, price didn't push out of where I needed it to go, and I had to punch out of that. So I was down 7 pips. And then on to the winning trades. The Australian dollar, US dollar, perfect entry point there. Price came down. I punched out of that. Could have pulled a little bit more out of it, but this is something we never know. And you have to be okay with that. Leaving money on the table, it'll happen so often, but you just have to be okay with it. Australian dollar, Japanese yen. Punched into this as it came through an entry point. I've got a little bit of slippage on this, 2 pips. You can see the actual entry price was slightly below where I hit the trigger. But still happy with that. Nice result on that. Sorry, I didn't mention the Australian dollar, US dollar. Took 10 pips on that. The Australian dollar, Japanese yen. Took 11 pips on that. Nice move down there. Again, leaving money on the table. But there's nothing you can do about that. And it's just something that you have to accept. US dollar, Canadian dollar. Took this one and I managed to get 14 pips on that. Although you can see that continued to move up. Hit that previous day's high and then bounced back off of that. And it's on its way back down again. So again, leaving money on the table there, but more than happy with the result there, 14 pips. And the Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, taking 9 pips on that. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, you can see this nice steady stair-stepping move down here, and that was 18 pips I managed to get on that. And so, number of trades taken today was 7. I won 5 of those and lost 2, giving me a net total of 55 pips, which equates to 2.26% profit on my capital. So that's all for today. Thanks very much for watching. Please remember to hit subscribe, and I'll be back soon with another video.